Hello, welcome to Soulprint. It is July 28th. I'm delighted that you found me and you're spending a few moments with me. That's just lovely, and I very much appreciate all of the support and encouragement and amazingly wonderful comments that I get from you. So, when I was getting ready this morning to do this reading, there was reaction going on to Trump's disgusting remarks about Elijah Cummings and his district. And I was hearing people defending him, using words like counterpunch, double down, pushing back. You push me and I'm going to push back harder. And for a long time now, I've had a real problem trying to figure out what it is that makes that attitude and that behavior attractive to people in terms of wanting that to be the representative of their country, wanting that to be how somebody governs. And I don't understand it. I have to admit, it completely confuses me. It baffles me because it's as if the bullying way is the appropriate way. And that's a really super sad commentary on where energies and emotions are gravitating towards. And so the viewers of my channel then have to work, very vigilantly to make sure that that energy does not take hold and that it can be sort of overridden by a more positive, inclusive, compassionate energy. It's difficult to understand why people would choose a president that most often acts like a spoiled toddler or a bully in a playground. So, speaking of, people who are capable and willing and desirous of getting onto media outlets and extolling the virtues of this president, pushing back and doubling down and counterpunching, I thought we would take a look at two of his rather avid supporters. So, welcome to Soulprint. We're taking a good long look today at Lindsey Graham and Jordon. So, here we go. I'm going to start with Lindsey Graham. I will, just as a caveat, tell you right now, I know that there is a lot of conversation and talk about Graham's sexual orientation and is he or isn't he, and is he in the closet, and it's not an area I plan on delving into. I kind of really feel like in that instance, what he may or may not do in his private life has absolutely nothing to do with the ass kisser he has become. Okay, so doesn't really matter to me what he does privately. The greater and larger concern is what he's doing publicly and why he's doing it. So let's zero in. I have a question, and I want to know what's going on with Lindsey Graham. Come on down. Let's see what we can find out. Lindsey Graham's motives. Lindsey Graham's motives. Lindsey Graham's motives. Just a quick aside, I have gotten some comments from people who find that the tapping a little distracting or a little theatrical. For those of you who haven't seen my reply in the comments, the tapping does two things. It clears the deck from previous energy, and it focuses the reading on the question at hand. So I'm aware that it's kind of irritating to some people. It's just the way I read. And so there we have it. Okay, so Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham. Yeah. When John McCain passed, it threw Lindsey Graham's world into a state of absolute upheaval. Sorry, I'm just going to shift my microphone a little bit there in case you can't hear me. It threw his world into a complete state of upheaval. And for some reason, I want to say that right at the end, perhaps Lindsey and John were not exactly on the same page. I mean, certainly there had been the healthcare vote that had them at odds. I don't know if there was more than that, and honestly, I'm not going to delve into if there was more than that. But it has caused him so much distress, Lindsey, so much pain, an almost inability to cope and to process, to be able to function in a way that has integrity and honesty. And I'm not saying he was the pillar of amazing purity and innocence before. I'm just saying that it really threw him off of a track. He has a lot of regrets about whatever went on towards the end of that relationship or that friendship. Perhaps he has regrets about not being able to see John as much or spend as much time with him, or he has regrets because on some level they were at odds philosophically. But I can't make a medical diagnosis, but I want to use the words kind of nervous breakdown, which is a bit of an old-fashioned phrase, but it is if something broke inside of Lindsey. And since then, he has been working very hard at trying to get a balance back. Except the problem is a couple things. One, he is the kind of personality who wants to be respected and listened to and have his words feel important. But he is also the kind of personality who in many ways is sort of a follower, not a leader, right? So he will latch on to whoever the sort of strongest personality is. Now, as long as John McCain was alive, that was his anchor. That was his strong personality. And so he fell into line with John's thinking and beliefs and strategies. When John passed, that left Lindsey floundering. And so he then literally latched on to the strongest personality in his vicinity. And unfortunately, that strong, powerful personality was Trump. So he is finding a real, he's in a difficult spot because he keeps trying to balance these two aspects of his personality. The one that wants to be admired and respected and thought of as wise, and the other aspect of his personality that is looking for a strong leader to help direct him. And of course, the more he defends Trump, the more his words are not really seen as strong or wise or sometimes even logical or coherent. But there you have it. Now, and there is also a overseas connection. So I do not know, and I am not going to suggest I know, but it appears that there is money, there is interests that come from overseas, and that in some way he is beholden to them. And so, you know, again, whether it is a situation of when the DNC got hacked, there was some personal information, or sorry, not the DNC, the RNC, because the RNC was hacked at the same time the DNC was. It was just that all of the RNC information kind of quietly disappeared. And you got to start to wonder if the reason it quietly disappeared was because that was going to be a way to have compromising material on Republicans who were going to push back against Trump and not support him. It was a very, very effective way to make everybody fall in line. I know your secrets. We will publicize them. You either get on the bandwagon with Trump or you're done. That's an unfortunate situation for him. You know, again, he wants his words, his thoughts, his ideas to be respected. Initially, I think he actually started the interactions with Trump because he actually foolishly thought he could bring him around. He could settle him down. He could, you know, help him to become more presidential. Okay, well, that blew up like a great big explosion, and that didn't work out so well. So, yeah, this is connected to partnerships. It is connected to people he associates with, is affiliated with, people he is in bed with. I mean that not necessarily in a sexual way. And he struggles. He really, really does struggle at this point to try to find that balance. And I'm not suggesting that everybody should go out and have infinite amounts of sympathy for him, because unfortunately the choices he has made in this struggle have been very harmful to the soul of America, harmful to the very souls of the people who reside in America. But it is a struggle, and that's how come every once in a while you see this really erratic behavior from him, you know, where one minute it appears as if he's sort of pushing back against something Trump has said or done, and then literally in the same breath he's defending him as if he is, you know, the Messiah. I don't feel that Lindsey is mentally in a good place. It feels like he is in a place of great confusion, distress. And at this point, it very much feels as if he cannot, figure out how to get back on the sunny side of the street, to that happy place, to that place where more people liked him than disliked him. Because now he finds himself trapped by his very words. He doesn't know which way to go. He recognizes that defeat is coming. And whether he acknowledges that it is defeat coming to him personally, or it is defeat coming to the party and the presidency, but he literally at this point doesn't see a way out. So it kind of feels like this really boils down to a grab. He's going to try to grab all the power, all the money, all the resources that he can in the time he has left in this position of power. So, there we go, Lindsey. That's on a human level, that's really sad for him. You know, hopefully he finds his way. Hopefully he is able to figure out a way to find that balance and find that peace, and perhaps get back to whatever it was he was before, that was perhaps not quite so entrenched in this attitude of selfish behavior, an attitude where I don't care who or what I hurt or harm. I want what I want because I'm desperate and I feel like this is my best chance to get it. All right. And so, I have a question. What's going on with Jim Jordon? He is not a nice person. His energy, as I'm zeroing in on it, is slimy. He is that person who abuses power, and he uses aggression and sort of in-your-face tactics and to kind of accomplish what he wants. In his own twisted little way, he actually feels like he is a rebel. You know, okay, so John Dean, he ain't. But he really, you know, that's why there's the no tie and the no jacket and the sleeves rolled up and I'm going to be cavalier. Because he actually really does see himself as a rebel who is, you know, riding for a greater cause. I don't know that I would actually agree with that, but it does seem to be what he thinks. So let's just give this a couple more quick shuffles. Interesting. These are the top two cards that are sitting on my deck right now. So, you know, him thinking he's brilliant and his world is about to crash down. So, interesting. So let's just zero in on Jim Jordon. And, you know, he's had a bit of a bumpy road lately, what with that whole high school, university, the coach situation. So let's just take a bit of a look, oopsie, and see what we see. Come on down. Jim Jordon's future, Jim Jordon's future, Jim Jordon's future. Okay. Now, this is typically and usually my trump card. Nope, I'm lying. It's not my trump card, but the King of Pentacles. Okay, that makes more sense. My brain was sort of fritzing there. Okay, so this is going to be Jim Jordon. This is what it represents. He is that man who functions and thrives on emotions, emotional reactions, emotional responses. His emotions are wow. His emotions are completely disconnected. He actually doesn't appear to have really strong, connected to the heart emotions. His emotions are what he chooses to show or display for the outcome he wants. Now, I'm not a psychology major, so if I get this wrong, kind of like, don't send me 100 messages saying I got it wrong. But the word Sociopath is the one that's rolling around in my head. Those kind of people who really don't have actual sincere emotions, concern, or care for anybody or anything outside of themselves. If I put the wrong label on it, I apologize, but you all get the message that I'm receiving here. So when you see him being belligerent or in your face or any of the other ridiculous behaviors he indulges in, remember, it is an act. It is his idea or his thoughts about what is the acceptable response in the situation to create the reaction that he's looking for, which is how come it was so easy for him to either ignore, disregard, or simply he didn't care. Just that's the bottom line. He just didn't care about the people that were being coached, the young boys. He didn't care because to him it wasn't significant. They weren't significant. They were a means to an end, and everything this man does is a means to an end. You know what? I gotta say, in some ways, his energy is actually among the worst I have come across in that political arena. And let me tell you, it takes some doing to bypass the Putins and the Trumps and the Kim Jong-uns of the world, okay? But he's like right up there. He just has this, everything he does with a motive and an intention that is only concerned with what he wants and he desires. So, yeah, there's shady dealings here. There's secrets being held, money that's changing hands, either to keep people quiet, to buy their silence, whatever. Justice is coming for him, and he is not going to like what happens. And we've got the mercenary card here. So again, this is just another indicator that his behavior is all about what is good and beneficial for him. Nothing else matters to him. He really thinks that he can completely control the narrative by being a bully and being aggressive and charging forward without regard. Unfortunately, this is what justice will demand. Justice is going to demand restitution. It's going to mean he has to abandon or leave his reputation, his life, his lifestyle behind. It will be destroyed. And he is going to find himself in a place where he is defending himself against everything and anything. And that's not good. Hang on, I'm just going to pause you because there's a lawnmower going on outside and I just don't know how much you're picking up it. So hang on. Hi, sorry about that interruption. Okay, so Jim Jordon. Yeah, you know, it's not going to end well for him. He's a little what you call delusional. The law's coming for him. It looks as if there's a female lawyer or attorney, judge, something that's going to have some say, you know, in what goes on with him. Yeah. I can't tell you right now exactly what the outcome is going to be. Whether he's going to sort of confess or whether he's going to get, you know, thrown in jail. Like I don't have any clarity on that, but what I can tell you is that there really is going to be a bit of a rocky road ahead for him, and justice is going to have their way in the end. He is going to, not only in this life, but in lifetimes to come, be paying for the harm caused. So remember, as I've said before, karma isn't determined on whether what you did was good or bad. It's determined on the harm or the benefit that was created as a result of your actions. So for now, thank you very, very much for finding me, for enjoying me. I'm loving the subscribes and the likes and the comments. It's all wonderful and very much appreciated. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you soon. Bye.